Cole had spent most of his life in silence, a rancher whose world rarely extended beyond the fences of his land. He didn't fear solitude. He accepted it as the only companion that never disappointed him. But everything changed the day he followed a stray calf too deep into unfamiliar territory. The ground beneath his boots felt different as he walked further, distracted by the animal's trail, and before he realized it, he had crossed into land known to belong to an Apache women's tribe. Stories about them were whispered around campfires, some filled with awe, some with fear, but Cole never believed he'd come face to face with them. The sharp whistle of an arrow slicing through the air made him freeze. Before he could reach for his rope or turn around, something tightened around his ankles, pulling him to the ground. When he looked up, he saw 8 women standing around him. Their stance was confident, their braids long, their clothing marked with intricate patterns, and their eyes steady as they studied him like a creature they'd trapped. Cole raised his hands, signaling he meant no harm, but the women tied them anyway and lifted him to his feet. They didn't speak much, communicating mostly through gestures and sharp looks. One woman stepped forward, clearly the leader. She demanded his purpose on their land, and Cole explained everything truthfully. She didn't show anger, but there was caution in her eyes. With a nod, she ordered the others to bring him back to their camp. Cole didn't resist. He understood he wasn't in a place where defiance would help. The camp was organized with an efficiency he admired instantly. Women tanned hides, prepared meals, trained younger girls, and maintained weapons. Their unity felt almost sacred. They tied Cole to a wooden post, making sure he couldn't run. But even bound, he felt something unusual. None of the women mocked him. None acted recklessly. Their silence carried authority, not cruelty. Hours passed as they observed him. Some kept their distance, studying his movements. Others approached closer, intrigued by the outsider's calmness. Cole didn't beg or panic. He simply watched them back, curious about a tribe that lived entirely without men yet maintained such discipline. The longer he stayed, the more he noticed their individuality, some stern, some playful, some curious, some reserved. The leader, whom the tribe called Niara, returned as dusk set in. She asked him more questions about his life, not in a threatening way, but with intent to understand him. Cole answered all of them honestly. When he spoke about having no family left and spending years in silence, Niara's expression shifted slightly. She didn't pity him, but something softened in her gaze. He expected them to leave him tied through the night. But before they moved away, a sudden cry rose from the edge of the camp. One of their horses had escaped during training and was sprinting dangerously. Close to the canyon's rim, 2 women chased after it but struggled to control the situation. Cole shouted for them to release him, insisting he could help. His sincerity struck Niara, and she quickly cut the ropes herself. Freed, Cole sprinted after the horse with surprising speed. The women followed, shocked by his agility. When he cornered the animal between 2 rocks, he moved carefully, calming it with slow breaths and gentle hands. When he returned with the horse, the tribe looked at him differently, not as a threat, but as someone unexpectedly capable. No one tied him up again. Instead, they let him sit near the fire. Their glances weren't hostile. They carried curiosity and a hint of respect. The younger women whispered among themselves, fascinated by the outsider who saved one of their prized horses. The older ones assessed him with thoughtful eyes. Cole, unfamiliar with so much attention, sat quietly, unsure how to behave. As days passed, the tribe allowed Cole to help with small tasks. They watched his every move, but didn't restrict him anymore. He showed them how to repair reins, how to calm nervous animals, and how to secure ropes more effectively. He wasn't trying to impress them. He was simply being useful. But every gesture, every act of patience made him more memorable to them. What surprised Cole most wasn't their acceptance. It was the feeling rising in his own chest. He admired them. Their unity, strength, and discipline fascinated him. The way they moved together, protected one another, and lived without depending on anyone outside their tribe felt powerful. He saw no cruelty in them, only purpose. And slowly, something began forming between them and him. Not romance, not yet, but a spark of connection. They saw a man who didn't try to dominate, didn't boast, didn't treat them as fragile. He saw a tribe that respected themselves and one another fiercely. Mutually, without realizing when it started, admiration grew. One night, as Cole sat alone, he overheard a few women discussing him quietly. They said he wasn't like the men they'd encountered before. They noticed his patience, his quiet strength, and the way he never demanded anything. Their words warmed him unexpectedly. By the end of that week, Cole felt something he hadn't felt in years, a pull toward belonging. Not because he sought affection, but because the tribe made him feel seen. Every woman, in her own way, had begun to form a silent bond with him. And the lonely rancher who once lived with nothing but silence found himself becoming the heart of attention, quietly, steadily and completely unintentionally. The transformation had begun long before he realized it. Captured only once, but winning their hearts one moment at a time. From the day Cole helped save the runaway horse, the atmosphere around him changed. The tribe no longer treated him as an outsider under suspicion. They didn't consider him one of them yet, but he had become a presence they acknowledged openly. The women approached him, more often, sometimes with questions about ranching, other times with tasks they needed help with. Cole never refused. He liked being useful, and he liked the feeling of being surrounded by people who valued what he offered. Niara, the leader, watched him closely. She wasn't quick to trust, but she observed everything. Cole's silence didn't irritate her. It intrigued her. She had met many men before, merchants, wanderers, settlers, but none carried his kind of quiet strength. He didn't try to prove himself, didn't try to charm anyone, didn't expect special treatment. He simply worked, listened, and offered help where needed. One afternoon, 2 young women approached Cole and asked if he would join a small gathering that evening. He didn't understand the significance, but agreed. When the time came, the tribe gathered in a wide circle. They invited him near the center, a place usually reserved for guests of honor. The women chanted softly, each offering a symbolic item to the fire. When Cole offered a simple rock he kept in his pocket, he worried he had done something wrong. But the tribe fell quiet in a way that felt meaningful. And Niara told him, "You offered something with personal meaning. That shows sincerity." Those words stayed with him long after the ceremony ended. Over the next days, Cole found himself naturally woven into their routine. The younger women asked him to teach them how to calm nervous horses. Some asked about life outside the tribe. Others simply stayed near him, listening to his stories, laughing at his dry humor. It felt strange, having so many people interested in him, but not unwelcome. Niara often joined these interactions quietly, standing nearby as if studying the connection forming between Cole and her people. She never interrupted, but her eyes followed everything. Cole noticed her presence each time, though he pretended not to. Trouble came one evening when scouts reported that a group of traders had been seen near the tribe's borders. These traders had been causing problems, stealing resources, pressuring smaller groups for supplies, and boasting that no tribe could stand against them. Niara prepared her warriors for confrontation. Cole stood at the edge of the group, unsure if he should involve himself. But when Niara looked at him, she said the words that changed everything. "If you stand with us, you stand fully." He nodded. When the traders arrived, they looked surprised to see a tall, muscular man standing among the women. They mocked the tribe at first, calling them weak for relying on a man. But their expressions changed quickly when they realized neither Cole nor the women were intimidated. The tribe stood firm, and Cole stood with them, silent but unshakable. Eventually the traders backed away, muttering insults they didn't dare act on. The unity they witnessed was stronger than any threat they could make. Afterward, the tribe's gratitude was quiet but genuine. A few women touched Cole's arm in appreciation, something they usually reserved for close companions. Others offered him small tokens, braided cords, beads, simple gifts that held meaning within the tribe. Cole accepted them with a humility that only deepened their respect for him. That night, while the camp settled, Niara approached him by the fire. She stood silently at first, then said, I misjudged you when we captured you." Cole smiled faintly. "I misjudged my fate. You changed how they see you," she continued, "and how I see you." Her words carried weight. She wasn't someone who spoke casually. Cole felt something inside him shift at her tone, something deep and unfamiliar. She sat beside him, the firelight reflecting in her eyes. "A man who stays without chains stays by choice. You could have run. You didn't." Cole looked into the fire. "I didn't want to." Their silence felt comfortable, connected, unforced. The following days strengthened the bond. Cole trained with them, worked with them, laughed with them. He never tried to be their leader. He simply became part of their rhythm. The women admired his humility, his strength, his loyalty. Niara admired something more, his honesty and the way his presence brought calmness to the tribe. Eventually, the tribe made a decision. With Niara's blessing, they offered Cole a permanent place, not as a prisoner, not as a guest, but as a trusted member. Cole accepted with quiet gratitude. In a world where he once wandered alone, he had found a truth he never expected. He didn't win their hearts by trying. He won them simply by being the man he had always been.